Good evening. Welcome to 5 Minutes and Cut. I'm Delvin Sadler. Who we've got here?
Legendary, knowledge-based KT.
Lord of mercy. And on the right, who we've got here?
Highly Enlightened.
Yes. So we're here because we've got important things to discuss. And today, it's about the races. So, let's get into today's show. Yes, knowledge base. In the news, it's been talked about so much about white supremacists, neo-Nazis, and KKK. So, tell me now, why is this going on in the news and where did it start? Where are we at? And where are we going?
Well, I would just blame it on Twitter. Everybody know I have a voice. Every Facebook, Instagram, I'm not leaving you out there.
Yeah.
All of this social media and this instant information going out from people who have nothing to do. So some guy in his basement can now have a voice. Even us, this show. Before, like 30 years ago, this show would not exist. But now, Delvin and I can pick up a camera, say whatever we want, and put it out there. But because we're responsible people, we actually put out good material. But to answer your question, these people go out there for whatever reason. They feel marginalized, they feel that the world is against them, and they believe the world is becoming too liberal. They believe that things should go back to what it was, that their rightful place is being taken away. So they form these fringe groups through, again, social media. Like minds come together, and you know, there are also other political issues that are out there that force these people to back themselves into this the subgroup, and now they are the pus of the right-minded society that is coming up. So it's just a sense of the times, and we have to deal with it. These people say they have a voice. Well, the left, you need to have a voice too. Right now, everybody have their voice. Everybody has a phone in their hand and they can say whatever they want. What I do not like is the direction of where this thing is going, where people from both sides, and again, don't attack me, you to start a fight, you can't fight with yourself. You have to fight with someone, yeah? Yeah, these people are despicable. I must admit that. The neo-Nazis and the right, their philosophy and what they stand for about this inclusiveness, where whiteness is concerned. I don't even know what white is. But anyhow, that's a story for another day. They believe that another group is less than themselves and should be put down and should be placed in the back. I do not subscribe to anything like that. We love all people, people of every stripe. Even the neo-Nazis, if they want to have a wholesome conversation and put aside the rhetoric, then we can talk. If you have challenges out there and you need a voice, then you need to speak, but you have to talk to everybody and show people respect. It's not 200 years ago. Like, we're not going to just take it sitting down. They say, hell freezes over, we'll fight you on the ice. Alright. How do you feel, Delvin?
Alright, so, what's your take? What's your take, Highly Enlightened?
So I agree with a lot of what you said in terms of everybody having access to have a voice, and I feel like, especially with social media, we have a lot of people that don't know anything putting these absurd opinions into public, and then people again who don't know anything and don't know which direction to follow, they just attach themselves to the first thing they see and they run with it, whether it's logical or not, and that is what is hindering forward mobility for our society, because it doesn't make sense for the little bit of progress that we've made to now reach a point how many hundreds of years later to be regressing. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I definitely feel like social media, Twitter, Facebook, those avenues that could be used to better us are actually hindering us. Because I mean, like, sometimes when I go on Facebook, I see somebody in the bush somewhere making some video about this is my America, and I have to laugh because I was like,
I don't identify with that.
yeah, like, where did you get this from? Like, this makes, how do you determine, how did you wake up this morning and determine that this is your America? Like, so I definitely agree that, like, social media and the internet too, because even if you Google some things, like, foolishness. So somebody who does not have the ability for themselves to make discernment and, like, do research and find out, fact check things, they're gonna Google the first thing that pops up on Google. Yeah, this is right. You know, I am naturally inclined to be superior to another, when that is like hogwash. So I definitely agree that it's a problem.
Yes, we're back. And clearly, you know, you guys really put some thought into this. The internet is actually a hazard to people if not
I
used
don't have to
properly.
cut you off, you know, but we can't just also blame the internet.
Yeah.
Because what created these avenues, the social medias, if you want to call them that, is that the real media has become so political,
Right.
and their whole self-interest and philosophy of the people who run these media is so overburdened into people's face that people start having regurgitation of some of the information that these people are passing towards people.
They don't believe in them anymore.
They don't
so
believe in
they
them
try to
anymore.
seek to find the truth elsewhere. And where else can you turn to but
Yourself.
internet? Probably. So they probably do it. But let me chime in on this, right? So there's a great singer-songwriter in Jamaica, knowledge base, Hiighly Enlightened. Her name is Tanya Stevens. You know her?
You use the word great?
Yeah.
Justine Stevens?
Great.
Okay.
She's past great
Alright.
songwriter.
Do you disagree?
Totally. But anyway.
Totally.
Alright.
She has an album called Revolution. That's one of the greatest albums ever to be written. Did you hear it, Knowledge Base?
You have shared it with me, but I
Alright.
do not agree. But anyhow.
She has a song called Do You Still Care on that album. So I want you to check it out.
I've checked it out already.
You heard the song Do You Still Care?
Yes.
Alright, so we cannot play the song here, but
You can go and listen to it.
no, I'm gonna sing a verse for you.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna sing the first verse and the chorus, and then we'll get my opinion. It goes something like this. Where Baba grew up, they kept tobacco chew up, and when they used to hang roast, they always kept two up. Had crosses burning all night like the church blew up, and if you didn't look like them, they would fuck you up. Time passed, and that's when Bubba turned 40 years old. That's when those Jack Daniels started taking its toll. Now it seemed like Bubba was about to make a final bow. None of his friends from the clan couldn't help him out. His family gathered at his bedside, ready to sing the blues. That's when the doctor rushed in and says, I've got good news. The good news is, Bubba, I found you a liver. The bad news is, it belongs to a nigga. Do you still care? How about the texture of his hair or the cocoa brown color of his skin? Do you still care? Do you still find it hard to love your neighbors as you love yourselves? Tell me, why can't you accept me as I am, just the way I am? What do you think, Knowledge Base?
The tune is a very good tune.
It's a very good song.
Yes.
It's a perfect song for this show.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Getting along. It's all about getting along. The lighter you and the darker you. And the thing about it is that the progress that we have made over time, you've got an element out there that don't want to see unity. So you see, they fight to keep their small ideas of whiteness and blackness separate, and they're battling to try to resurrect the past. That means to turn the darker you back into slaves and the lighter you on top. But I say to this small minority, you will not win. And the reason why you will not win is because people like us, we won't stand for it. We will stand side by side together in fighting you, because we are not going backwards. And the thing about it is this. My brother Donald Trump, I believe I'm a Trump supporter. Yes, everybody knows that. Come on, knowledge base. Which side are you on?
What do you mean, which side? I'm on God's side.
Amen.
Donald Trump is on God's side. He's
Donald
part
Trump
of
is
the
on God's side.
conservative He's part of the conservative
Listen to me, and listen to me very clearly.
He's one of our brothers.
Listen to me very clearly. Donald Trump is disgusting.
Yeah, I said I concur.
And this has nothing to do with right or left on the political. Hold on. On the political spectrum. This man has no backbone. He goes wherever the wind is going and wherever it benefits his self-interest. I'm yet to see where this man has made any form of decision that benefit people. But I'm not writing him off. He hasn't been in office for 1 year yet. But I'm not gonna sing any gospel or say come down by the river, kumbaya. Not gonna happen. But
So
anyhow.
you don't believe in the Trump philosophy and ideology of unity amongst the races?
He's fanning the fire of division.
He's doing that?
Yes.
He sustains it. I have not seen anything where inclusiveness in him is included. What are we speaking
you've
about?
got
The man, hold on a second. You stop right. The man is what you call them people now, the head of the states, the government, the departments, and I think there's only, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to take a shot in the dark, maybe 2 people of color, if you want to call it that, and I hate using that word, people who are darker. That is on this, that is in the head. I think it's HUD, which is the housing department. Carson. And Ben Carson believed that slavery was voluntary. I didn't say that. Him said, maybe they take out snippet and splice his word. But Ben, correct me if you didn't say that.
So what you're saying, Ben is white?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Ben's constitution is warped. And Ben needs to go back and look within himself and speak properly about human condition and how human beings in this here North America since the 1700s till now evolve. Hold on a second. You know that black people in North America, let's not say North America, in America has been there since the start of what is now America. There's this thing called New Amsterdam, which is now New York. When that thing was set up, they were set up by people from African heritage and white people. Okay? They helped to settle New Amsterdam. Okay? When the British took over, all of a sudden now, and black people had the same status as white people in America in the early days. Then when the advent of slavery, slowly poor white people, to make sure they had the massive on their side, they created this thing where they start saying, okay, you are white, you are with us. They are black, they are different. You, even poor white people, started treating black people as of a certain date. I can't remember the exact date. But they just start putting black people in a subjugated position, if you want to call it that. So you see that this thing and we started out this show from way back when. This thing called hue, it's a figment of people's imagination. There's no difference between a black man and a white man. It's just your character.
Yeah.
If you're an asshole, you come in many different spectrum. Okay? So these people, and back to this neo-Nazi and skinhead and all these type of people, those are just a fringe that happens to be of the lighter hue. They are decent human beings in every culture. Even in the black culture, you have some extreme people.
Yeah, there's some real extreme ones, and I've come across them on a regular basis. And believe it or not, you've got some black people who don't even like black people.
Of course.
They'll kill you for nothing.
Of course.
For nothing.
For nothing. And you must admit that changes need to happen amongst ourselves as well, not just on the outside. We need to be people of what do you call now, tolerance and acceptance, just the same way as the other side. And the other side also needs to be tolerable to each other as well and to us as well. So I think, in my opinion, knowledge base, we have come a long way as a race in the last probably 5 to 10 years. You must admit. I don't know if Barack Obama played a strong part in it, as far as people realizing that, you know what, we've got intelligence, we've got knowledge, we've got all of these things. So, you know, but I see on a daily basis black and white more than probably in the 80s and early 90s.
How do you see it? Sorry.
Okay, so you mentioned Barack Obama, and I feel like that like didn't add to your point, because I personally don't feel like Barack Obama contributed much to the black regime.
No, I'm not saying he contributed to the black regime. I'm talking about overall
the image.
The image that he portrayed on television is something that is marketable and sellable as.
Yeah, I get it, because most often black people aren't displayed as educated, well-mannered people. I definitely understand that, but I feel like, I'm not sure which one of you mentioned like progress that's been made. Like I don't feel like progress has been made. I feel like now people are just more vocal with their disdain for one another. Like I feel like before.
No, in Canada here, you see progress.
Where?
You see that disdain as how you see it in America?
Where?
But I'm not comparing.
Delvin a cop just thump a man eye out recently, you know.
Yeah, like I don't.
Just because I would.
That's a sick cop.
So
that cop has issues and problems.
Yeah.
Okay, but
So what about the one who shot the man from the subway?
So all cops stayed away there? That's what you're saying?
It just so happened that, you know what? Let me not go.
Continue what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm just saying. Okay, so like, I can't say that I believe progress has been made, because like when I think about when I was in school and I was studying, we're talking about like the whole idea of multiculturalism and all that stuff. Like I just feel that now we're at a state where some people are tired of hiding their true feelings and others are tired of pretending like they're not aware that these people really don't like them. So like now we're having more confrontation because of the doors that have been opened with Trump becoming president over there. So I don't know, have we progressed really, or now just people have just reached their boiling point and now the cup's spilling over?
Alright, so.
I hear exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying. That makes a whole lot of sense. It could be that people have been hiding their feelings the whole time. So all this time we think there's progress, but people have been, what you call it, domicile, they inject them.
Yeah.
So now they're like, I'm tired of this shit. I'm racist, goddammit.
Yeah, like, you know, it's like a free-for-all now. Everybody feels like they're entitled now to really express how they feel, and now you see all these stuff that wasn't an issue for Canada is now happening in Canada.
To be honest, you have some black people out there, because I like to play both sides. You have black people out there who think they can't be racist.
Of course.
I see them all the time.
But hold on.
And they're the most racist people in the world.
But okay, hold on. But with that one's touching, because I feel like black people can be prejudiced, but they can't be racist, because with racism means that you have the ability to oppress another group, and like realistically, like how black people hide behind
that all the time. But finish your answer.
No, I
hope it's not that you said. But
I just would want to see like when has black people or people not Caucasian have the power to oppress another group of people?
No, but you see, there are levels to thing, you know. For example, I am in charge of, I don't know, a zoo. It's just for random, whatever. And I have the authority because I'm the gatekeeper to decide, okay, when I bend the rule and when I don't. So because I hate white people, it doesn't matter if they didn't walk the straight line. I am gonna enforce with a iron fist the rules all the time. And then a black person come and I say, come on buddy, let's go. You can jump in the enclosure with the lions. Okay? What I'm saying is that there are levels to, maybe a black person cannot create laws to say you can't get housing, okay, you can't have this job.
Right.
Big things.
Right.
But there are small little things that you can do.
Right. These small
Plus,
little
also, you can work for people and spit in their drinks.
Okay.
Rub your body on them sandwich.
Definitely. But how's that oppressing me? So I ate a bati sandwich. How am I like? Do you get what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, in the grand scheme.
I know what you're saying. In the grand scheme of things,
like
they don't have any control.
Yeah. So like you can't, like I can't say with 100% conviction that black people can be racist. Yes, they can be prejudiced.
Yes.
But racist, that like show me how.
Okay. So what you're saying is that
inherent in racism is a power.
Because white people have created such a divide. Even though I'm prejudiced and I want to morph into being racist, white people has created a barrier against my racism.
What I'm saying is they occupy that space currently, and I have yet to see another group occupy it.
So then let's just play devil's advocate.
Okay.
So you're saying, I'm not saying you're saying, but your argument is saying that we want to be racist and we need to get to that position where we have some power to express our racism.
No, definitely not. I am simply attacking the claim that non-white people can be racist, because inherent in racism is the ability to oppress a mass of people, and in history no other group other than Caucasians have been able to do that.
And it's a long history.
Right. So like I'm not saying that the aim of black people is to now occupy the space that they are in, because I personally know that's not my end goal, but I definitely know I don't have the ability to impact generations upon generations upon generations upon generations of white people to my advantage.
I totally agree with what you're saying, but I have to frame what you're saying. And I do get what you're saying. But what we need to do as a people, and I'm talking about people of the darker hue, some people, that is a fringe out there, want a revolution. Keep saying it. It's true. There's an underbelly out there, just like these white supremacists. They want a war. They're crying for a war. They want it.
Yeah, blood. Okay? They want blood.
They want blood.
Yeah.
Because they're willing to shed blood?
Some of them are cowards.
Alright, but hold on, knowledge
before
you go on. And I'm going to let you pick up on that. I would segue exactly where I was going to. Because in these demonstrations that I see against the other side that is protesting against these neo-Nazis and all of these things, as far as I see on TV and on the internet, approximately 70 to 80% of the people that doing the protest is actually white. Where are the black people now coming out to say that, you know what, we're going to protest against?
What if they're scared?
Scared?
Yeah, like, okay, if you look at the stuff
this girl has genius in it. We'll continue.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, okay, if there's going to be a large gathering of black people, you're going to see the SWAT come out. Like,
They will?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Look at
the dark skin is a threat.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
All when they have peaceful protests, like you'll see like the whole brigade out there, tanks rolling ready. And it's like,
it's true.
So they've declared war on us, you're saying?
Not really, but
not directly. But
right, Delvin, let me express something to you.
Us and not the other side? Is that
Delvin, I'm not venting, but let me express something to you.
Yes.
Black people weren't considered lazy until the abolishment of slavery. Black people were raped, literally, in their asses. They were beaten with whips. Right. After slavery, they were hung from trees. There's a song called Strange Fruit. I'm not going to sing it right now, but it's very touching by, what's her name? Billie Holiday. But anyhow, what I'm saying is that the history of black people in North America and the Caribbean is very violent as it relates to how people of the lighter hue treat us. But yet still, people of the lighter hue, the media, and it's the white media, they have this impression of black people as being the most violent people on earth.
Yeah.
And when a young black kid walk past their car, they push the lock button.
That happened to you before?
All the time when I was a teenager. Now I drive, so it doesn't happen that much, but it used to happen. But what I'm trying to say, it's the great contradiction.
Yeah.
And these things have to be talked about both from a black perspective and people from the white perspective.
So like we need to hold on.
Yes.
So the protests that I spoke about, where approximately 70% of the protesters are actually white. You think it's because of the security forces why more black people wouldn't come out?
I feel like that plays a major role in it.
And also, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think that particular demonstration, there's a myriad of different issues that people are fighting for.
Or is it just the geographical location there?
That too. It was in
more white people
Virginia
in that demographic than
that could play a role too.
Possibly.
That could play a role.
Possibly. So you think that unity is not close but far away?
I don't think it's far away. What do you think?
Unity between
Races.
the different races?
Yes.
Honestly, right now, I feel like it's an idea that people would like to strive to do like 5-10 years. Is it realistic? I don't feel like within that time frame it'll happen, because you know what, enough of the right steps aren't taken. Like there's a lot of little steps that need to happen for a true unity to be achieved, and like the steps aren't being taken.
So you think that where does the step starts? From their kids? Because us grown up adults are probably setting our way. So we have to
For sure. Like
training in schools.
No.
At the end of the day, I don't think it's the school's responsibility. It starts in the home, and that's the problem. Because look at this. I saw a post the other day on Facebook where there was a little white boy and a little black boy, and they're like hugging each other. And like, when you think about it in the simplest form, these kids these two little boys don't realize black, like one's white, one's black. Like to them, they're two little boys. Who's faster, who's stronger? That's all they care about. It's when they go home, for Tommy and John's parents, what are they telling them? Stay away from that little boy. Like,
so you think that still happens? Because
of course.
I've got kids, and my kids' friends are quite diverse.
But your kids live in the suburbs.
So that's why you think it
that
more
plays a
segregation.
major role. Of course.
Let me tell you a conversation I had with a coworker of mine the other day. So the coworker asked me, I was on my way home and they asked me where I lived, and I told them where I live. And the first thing they asked me was why. And I was like,
because I like it there.
I'm like, what's wrong with where I live? And then their response is, well, the job you have now, you need to get out of that area. And I said, why is that? They're like, you're going to grow, you're going to have kids, and, your kids are going to date the people in that area. You need to give them a better caliber of people to date from.
People?
Yes. And I was like, interesting. And this was 2 days ago. So don't tell me like these ideas of, and it was a Caucasian lady that was speaking to this.
So that's one racist person that you spoke with.
I am not going to say the person is racist or not. What I am going to say
that's
is
one narrow-minded person you spoke
those ideologies are very rampant in today's. No. In my job that I do, I interact with people that have made similar comments like that to me.
If you see around the cities here, I see the kids playing around, multicultural. You don't see that? Right,
but see, this is the thing. Like at the end of the day, like
when
they go home, so somebody say like a 12 to 15-year-old where the sense is starting to form in them and everything. When they go out into society, into their schools, especially like if they're in areas like this, they can be put in a situation where they can learn, they can slowly develop those, skills and ration things out for themselves. But then when they get home, they're getting drilled with this pint-sized, narrow-minded ideology, which is of separation, right?
All right. So in the schools now, they remove the police from temporary from the schools. Is that a change forward or backwards?
Backward.
It's backwards, right?
Yeah. Why? Because the reason why the police were put into these schools is because some of these schools are very violent.
Alright, so it's not a racist
listen,
thing.
it has nothing to do with race. It has to do with the fact that you have some teenagers that are bringing guns and knives to school, and teachers are terrified of them.
Alright, so stop it there. We're not going to talk about that. So, going forward, what do you think are the steps needed going forward between the races for there to be more unity knowledge base?
The first thing is accountability.
Hold on, that's knowledge base.
Yeah. I agree with that. You have to have some accountability. But you see, if you're talking about black and white people, it's because we are the most dominant people and this is a struggle. But there are other people out there, and there's Chinese people.
Yes, knowledge base. So continue.
Yeah, man, everybody have a story to tell, Delvin.
Yeah.
And if we just want to isolate it in a vacuum where we're talking about our experience, and when I say our, I mean black and white people from this hemisphere and the British, if you want to call it that, Western civilization. What needs to happen is that we need to have a truth and reconciliation. And I believe people do not want to fully and openly talk about what the differences are. And it all comes down in today's day to economics. Nobody wants to play on an equal playing field, okay? People of the lighter hue have had a run for years now without any competition, and they want it to continue like that. Black people, since the 60s, have been educating and re-educating themselves, and a lot of them are coming into today's society and is becoming more productive
And qualified. Yes.
as member of today's society.
Mm-hmm.
So the old narrative that black is no good and black cannot do a job which a white person can do, and our brains are small, and all sorts of different nonsensical, stupid things that they have come up with. Scientists in the 1800s measure skulls and talk all sorts of bullshit. See, that has been debunked. And now the fight is on for the limited resources that we have, so everybody is bunkering down. What we need to do is to retrain ourselves, even the adults. It doesn't have to start with children. People have to now see people as people and put aside these hues. If the man applied for the job and he is the most qualified, with a blindfold on, you can take that person, irrespective of what the person look like, sound like, as long as they can do the job. People have to have a wholesome conversation about retraining themselves as it relates to how you're going to look at someone because of the shade of their skin. Okay? We need to have a wholesome conversation and start going to character. And you're right, people need to start holding themselves accountable for their actions with how they deal with other people.
Yes, I feel like with that one, like especially if I'm speaking for people from my generation, like again, because like when I went to school, these were topics that we talked about, and all the Caucasian people in my class said the same thing. Like, my dad's racist, but I'm not. My grandma's racist, but I'm not. And for me, like, that's the funniest thing to her, because like if you like, it's like almost subconscious, because like that's what you grew up in, that has affected you some way. Like if you make a comment like, oh, you know, you're black, so you can't get burned by the sun, that means that color is something that you are subconsciously aware of. So it's like those little things. So like accountability is a very important thing, because it's like you're so quick to say, oh, you know, I'm not racist, or like I don't have a problem with a black person, for example. But it's like, okay, when it comes down to it, like we had a conversation about affirmative action. Okay, they're opposed to affirmative action, but like, do you see why? I'm not saying I am for or I'm against it, but I can see why it is necessary. So like I feel like accountability is a very big thing, because a lot of people are quick to say like it's not me, but when it comes down to it, if you do self-reflection, part of it is you. Like you're not doing anything so by default you are part of the problem. So accountability is a, and then what you said about economics, it's true, because it's like, all right, if within themselves they're thinking, okay, if I have to eat less because you need to eat, I'm not willing to eat less. There's no way I'm willing to give up my bread so that you can have bread too. No. So, you know, that's why I say, like, you know, it's maybe it can happen, but like it's far away.
Yes. So, see, all it takes is dialogue. We need dialogue amongst the youths and dialogue against about everything, economics, how we go about our day-to-day life, housing, you know what I mean? So what we need to do is to dialogue. We're gonna wrap up the show. Yes, we're back. We're gonna wrap up the show. Interesting show today. Great points, knowledge base. What do you think?
Well, I don't think you even scratch the surface, you know.
We could have gone on, but we got limits
the
here.
surface. But one thing we need to do is to get the other side here on finance and cut.
Yeah.
Because as you can tell, there's 3 people, even though we have a female perspective, there is 3 people here that are of the
Darker, yes.
Delvin, I'm not sure now.
I got my opinions.
Good one.
I got my opinions here.
Yes, but it is what it is, and we there's not one side to every story. There is the right side, wrong side, and the truth in the middle. So, you know, people are pulling and pulling and pushing, and you know, people of the lighter you, they go through struggles too, you know.
Of course.
How would you like it every day if black people keep bringing it up that you enslave me, you marginalize me, you're wicked, you're this, you're a demon, and you have good, decent white people who want to do well for black people and keep giving and 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 giving, and it seems like it's never enough.
Never enough.
After a while, they just get tired and say, "Fuck you."
Okay.
Okay.
All right. What do you think of today's show?
No, I think it was a good beginning conversation. It's like training wheels, you know, but you know, the ultimate objective is to ride that 2-wheeler on its own.
Yeah.
So I agree that we should have another
More dialogue.
but also dialogue from the other side. Yeah, I feel like
All right.
that's
So
necessary.
there you go. The Hiighly Enlightened said, if you want to be on 5 Minutes Uncut and you're from the lighter you, just drop us a message or in the comment section. I'll get a hold of you and you can sit with here and we dialogue as human beings. What would you say, knowledge base? It can only get better.
It can only get better from there, and open, honest conversation. That's all I have.
Yeah, that's what we want here. So what you would like to say to the people, knowledge
Well,
base?
themselves a like, subscribe, share. I always have subscribe. Subscribe. Tell it to your mother, your cousin, your sister, your auntie, your brother. You're done now.
Sure.
Yes, I
Yeah, it's a nice show. It's a nice format, and we expect to expand very shortly. So, you know, until next week, we want to say
Peace.
peace out.